Yo, welcome everybody back to the Personal Podcast. We are back with episode number 6. It's been such a long time since we posted one of these, and honestly, so much has been going on within the last 3 to 4 months that we haven't really had time to update you guys properly. If you guys have been watching some of our other content, like the one-shot episodes, and you guys got questions about what that is and all that, we'll definitely get into that. But I would like to introduce my beautiful guest, the one and only Ashely. How are you doing today, love?
I'm doing lovely.
Yeah? Ashley's actually my girlfriend. We've been dating for close to 10 months now. We met back in June of last year through some mutual friends, and we definitely have a cool couple stories that we want to get into today. But before any of that, I kind of want to get into like what you and me have been up to for probably the last 4 months. So you actually ended up moving, was it December or January?
I think ends of December.
Okay.
Yeah, end of December.
So you moved originally from Redwood City
Yes.
to Newark, Fremont, right?
Yeah,
You live closer to Newark.
It's like both.
Yeah.
It's also like semi-close to Hayward. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like in the midst of both.
I feel you. So you moved into a new city, and it was honestly just right across the bridge, so it wasn't nothing too crazy in terms of distance. How did you feel like the first few months after moving? Was it refreshing or like how?
Oh, for sure. I think moving out to Fremont was like the best move, to be honest. It's so peaceful there, and like I feel like I can walk around and I'm not gonna see the same people I grew up with, like every corner. You know? And it's so peaceful. Just like I love the weather there, to be honest, and it's amazing. I like it there.
Well, I liked it in the beginning when I first got there. Yeah. I just didn't like the area that I lived in.
Yeah,
like
I see that.
The area that I'm in is kind of boring. Fremont definitely has some nice areas. It has a really cool skate park. But yeah, for me, that city just like didn't do it for me. I feel like that's where like old people went to like retire.
Also grew up in San Jose where everything's like super like.
Yep.
Yeah, everything's very fast. I grew up in Redwood. There's not much going on there. Everyone knows each other, and it's just like not in the best way.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone knows your business without you even knowing their name, type of thing. You know, so I think San Jose was like a better like.
Redwood is pretty small now that I think about it.
It's very small.
But I mean, I kind of want to get into a little bit as to like how you and me met, because I feel like our story is kind of interesting a little bit in terms of like how we connected. So we unofficially met, back in like the pandemic, back in like 2020. Yeah.
I would say 2020.
So I made a Tinder, and we ended up matching. Ended up exchanging socials. No, I don't even think we exchanged socials. I think I just followed you on Instagram. I
had it in my like bio.
Really?
Sure. My Instagram was in my bio. Yeah.
And so I just followed you. I'd seen that you had just gotten a bulldog actually, and he was like the cutest dude. And so yeah, from there I remember I like slid in your DMs. It didn't really go anywhere. I felt like you weren't really fucking with me at the time.
I wasn't fucking with anybody. That was just you.
It wasn't just me. But okay, so then that happened, and so obviously you and me didn't really like nothing really happened.
Yeah.
So about a year passed by, and I remember I got invited to my boy's birthday party through Isela. I remember she DM'd me and she said, "Hey, we're throwing like a little surprise for Gibby. If any of his homies want to come, please let me know, and we'll put him on the list." And so I ended up pulling with who was it? Rob, Victor.
I think it's just Vincent.
No, I also pulled up with Allison and her friend. I'm forgetting her friend's name. Her friend from LA, but it doesn't matter. So we all pulled up, and I see you there, and I was very conflicted in the moment because I was like, I know I for sure unfollowed you. Like, I knew it was
we were not connected in any way.
Yeah, and I also didn't know if you recognized me too, so I was like, maybe she just doesn't remember, you know, maybe she's just like
trying to brush it up.
Yeah, and so I was hoping that could be the case, but regardless, I ended up having to leave a little early due to Rob having to get home. So then, you know, I thought we kind of put a stamp on that. I was like, okay, you know, maybe if I run into her some other time, then, but no, you were not patient. You literally followed me the next day, the next morning,
Yeah, the next
or that night.
I'm gonna say the next morning.
Then
Did
did the alcohol get to you a little bit?
Like, it was the next morning.
Okay. So then, so I get that you followed me the next morning. I get the little notification, and so I go home. I didn't think too much of it, but I hopped on FaceTime with Jorge, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, should I do something? You know, like yada yada yada. I think she's cute." And so one thing led to another. I, you know, did some really cheesy pickup line, and
The cheesiest, that if it was anyone else, I'd be like,
yeah, but it worked. It worked,
Yeah,
and 10 months later, here we are. Is there anything that you've learned so far in the time of us being together that you didn't expect to learn?
What did I learn? I think I've learned a lot, to be honest. I think you've made me, like, a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And that being, like, I learned that from you also. That's you. I feel like we've been growing a lot with each other, as in, like, we communicate things a lot.
We hang out a lot.
We hang out a lot, yeah. You're my best friend. But yeah, I feel like I've learned, how to be a better person, for sure. Like, you've made me more confident. You've made me want to keep improving. And you've shown me a lot of, like, the artist industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never known that much about it. So, I feel like, yeah, you taught me.
I feel like the main things I put you on with is, like, music. I would say that's the one thing where I'm like, yeah,
No,
okay,
for sure.
yeah.
I thought I knew enough music until I met you. Like, at first I was like, you know, I know a good amount of music.
Yeah.
But all I really knew was, like, R&B type of music.
Mm.
I didn't know past that, to be honest. Other than country.
And who would you say was, like, some of the artists that, like, you was coming up with in terms of, like, maybe that your parents listened to that you really like? Like, would you say, like, Vicente Fernandez or any of those guys?
Okay, so that's the thing. My parents listen to a lot of Spanish music.
Right.
And growing up in Fresno, I felt like at that time people weren't really embracing that type of, like, they weren't embracing, like, being Latino.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they kind of hid it because you were surrounded by so many, like, other cultures that you were like, let's, like, belittle ours.
Yeah.
And so growing up, I didn't really speak that much Spanish or listen to the music. Like, when I heard it on, I'm like, change it. Like, I want to listen to English music.
I was the exact same way.
Regret it. Yeah,
I was the exact same way.
But other than that, I think the one thing I did learn was the opposite. I learned country music from my mom. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but
Yeah.
I like it. Like, I think it's...
Listen, I don't hate country.
It's not for everyone.
I can't stand it, bro. Listen, to each their own, 100%, you know what I mean? But it's just something about country music that gets my blood boiling. It's, you know what's even more, like, what frustrates me even more is I can't put a pin on it. Like, it's like it's not the accent, it's not the instruments, it might be the cheesy ass lyrics, because I feel like because if you think about it in a way, country music and, like, I guess you could call like what would you call sad Mexican music? Not corridos. It would be
Yeah, no.
Is it corridos? But do you know that genre of music where it's like...
It's definitely the same.
It's
like ranchero?
Yeah, kind of. I would say those two kind of fall in the same of, like, they're usually about a girl, they're usually about, like, family and, like, morals and that kind of stuff.
They definitely are, which is why I feel like my mom liked it.
Right.
And that's how I got introduced to it.
Yeah. But I just think the Spanish adds a certain level of, like, intimacy, like romance.
Very more passionate.
More passionate, and it's like, I feel like their wordplay is a lot better.
But that kind of goes with our whole, like the Latino culture.
Yeah.
It's a lot more romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's why the music is more like, at least you see it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure. I'm hoping that when I'm like 40, it'll be like the same thing with like pickles, where it's like I hated pickles all my life,
And you like it.
and then now I like them. I'm hoping that when I'm like 40, I'll like listen to one country song and it'll open the doorway for that. Because that's a whole genre of music I
I'll
don't.
play this for you.
Oh,
Just
really?
let me know when. Let me know when you want to hear it.
Kind of moving on though into like sort of like that like Latino culture that you talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you grew up with parents that are pretty traditional in the sense of like, you know, very Mexican parents, but also in like the way that they run their household. You know what I mean? And so like you got to be home at a certain time. Certain rules have to be like respected. You know, and so it's like I feel like it's an environment that both of us grew up in, so it wasn't like too weird.
Yeah.
But being a girl growing up in like a Mexican household, like how was that?
I think it's depends the person, to be honest. Either they has like, you know, if you're the type to go by the book, or if you're the type to be your own person. And I think very much like my whole childhood and up until like I was a junior in high school, I want to say, not even like senior in high school, I was very like that. Like I was just like, what's wrong with following what they say? Like they're the grown up, they know what they're doing, type of thing. And I'm like, they've gone so far in life. And I always thought that was just, there's only one way, and it's the way your parents think.
Right.
And that was until I realized, like, they had to learn on their own, and that's why they think the way they think. And I was like, I should do that too. I should think the way that I think. And it definitely got us into some headbutts. I found some, my mom not trusting me, type of thing. And that was, like, the biggest thing, because I was like, damn, like, she's my best friend. Like, she's not trusting me.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized, like, she has also learned from that. Like, she's learned that I need to be my own person. I need to learn from my mistakes. And I think that's helped us a lot to get to where we are. Still have my curfew, which sucks. But
almost 22 years old. Still got a curfew.
22 years. Dang.
Yeah.
How's that been on you, though? Me having a curfew?
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough in the beginning. Just because I felt like there was a lot of things that my friends do that are usually late night that we obviously couldn't do together. So I don't want to say I felt excluded out of doing those things because I was always invited. But a certain part of me kind of felt weird doing those things without you because I was like, I'm going to be there, but I'm going to be like texting you and like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not going to be there, you know? So it's like, as unfair as like that may sound, I wish that the only thing that I like regretted was us not being able to do those things, you know?
Same.
Yeah. But everything else was like, it was whatever, because I mean, I figured I would have to get you home at some point, you know, and it's like, you know, sleeping over is one of those things where it's like, I don't even know if as a parent, I'm going to let my kids sleep over places.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's like some sort of like relative or like, you know,
it's
somebody.
It's something we want to do, but then we're just like, put yourself in a parent place, and you're like, I think the same way.
Which I also kind of wanted to ask you, because I was like, you know, obviously growing up with your parents, you obviously learn a lot about the good things, but I feel like you also learn about like what not to do, you know, and like certain things that they may do that you feel like, oh, like that made us become a little bit more distant. That you may not want to implement with your kids. So what are some things that you want to do that like your parents taught you, and some things that you probably won't do?
Some things that I would want to do, I think I have a very loving family, and I definitely want my kids to be very family orientated. Just because I feel like it could build like that character in you, and at least I think like it makes you a more loving person overall. So I love that. Like, we would always have, like, movie nights. Like, always bonding. And it's, like, a great memory to have as, like, a kid. Like, when I look back at I'm like, yeah, I bumped heads with my brother, but who didn't? So, I know, I love that. And I guess the one thing I wouldn't do is be so judgy. This is something I tell my parents a lot. That I tell them, I'm very easygoing. I feel like you can tell me anything and I won't judge. So that's what my family does. Like, they always talk to me and everything, and I don't judge them or anything. Like, I'll just give them my opinion or like listen to them, because sometimes you just need someone to listen to.
Right.
And I feel like I don't have that with them. Like, I can't be that with them. I can't talk to them about anything without them judging or, like, reacting.
Yeah.
Which is something that I'm like, I wouldn't want my kids to fear that. Like, I want them to communicate with me and have that resource, because they're also going to be looking for it somewhere else. And it's like, would you really want them to get a bad advice from someone else, or would you rather, like, you know, be the one telling them this kind of stuff?
100%. Okay, so obviously, you know, you and me, the way that we started off was pretty interesting, because I feel like I was on a different journey back then in terms of, like, what I was trying to accomplish within my own, like, personal goals. And so I was honestly not in the mindset of, like, I'm going to settle down. I was completely opposite. I was like, don't settle down. Whatever you do, do not date anybody seriously right now, because you're about to move. Yeah. My original plan was to move to San Diego, and just to kind of kickstart my career down there and get more connects in terms of SoCal. That was the original idea. And so obviously, I want to say, dude, within the first month, I felt conflicted. Yeah. I was like...
because we started dating July. I remember you're supposed to move in, like, October.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so scary.
And I was just kind of like, should I let her down easy, or should I try to make it work long distance? Like, yeah. I was just so going back and forth. And so I remember I had a honest conversation with Ruben on one of our car rides, and I was just kind of like, dude, I don't know if I can do San Diego anymore. And it was one of those, it was, I had to, because he was going to be my roommate, so we were going to be moving down there. And so I felt like I needed to talk to him about it, because it was going to be happening soon. And so I told him, I was like, dude, I'm going to be honest. I think what I'm chasing isn't necessarily what I'm going to find down there. Yeah. I think what I'm looking for in terms of, like, an overall place where I can call home, I think that's starting to feel like this place again. And so, like, definitely you did have a good portion to do with that. I want to say the rest was obviously my family. Yeah. Not being too far from them. As much as I wanted to kickstart my career in terms of, like, clothing and just content, I totally understand that, like, I'm gonna feel empty as fuck if I can't have people, like, closest to me around at all times. And a FaceTime call just isn't the same, you know. No matter if we FaceTime, like, 100 times a day, like, it's not gonna be the same as, like, hanging out and, you know. So, definitely. Yeah, I mean, how did you feel during that time? Like,
I remember talking to my best friend about it. I was so scared.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, everything about, like, the startup of our, like, relationship, dating-wise, it felt so effortless, like, so peaceful and amazing and fun. Yeah. That I was like, dude, I'm honestly down. I don't think we were, like, boyfriend and girlfriends at that time when I was telling her. And I was like, I'm honestly down to do long distance with this guy. Because I felt like it was right. It was going to be scary. It was pretty scary. Not going to lie, because I've never done anything like that. But, I don't know, it felt right. Because I knew you were doing something you loved, and I was like, who am I? Like, I just met this guy. Like, who am I to tell him, like, don't move? Like, that was not my place at all. It still isn't. Like, if you wanted to do that, that's not my place. Because it's something you love, regardless of how much I love you.
See, I feel like if I was to move down to San Diego, you'd have to come with at this point.
At this point, yeah. I'm going with you.
So, I mean, if that's the move next year, you let me know, and we can make it happen. Because I honestly miss SoCal weather. SoCal weather is the best.
I've never been, like, I never lived in SoCal, so I don't know how that is. I live in the valley. Hot as hell.
It's hot as hell, but you got a beach about 15 minutes away.
That's very true.
That's the plus. Yeah. Okay, so I guess kind of, like, getting more into, like, what that must have been like in terms of like you finding out about my career. First of all, what was your opinion about like me doing the whole clothing thing?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in me, I love clothes, to be honest. It's like, I go about my way of expressing myself through clothes. So the fact that you were doing clothes amazed me because I've never met anyone like that. I've told you before, but I grew up in Redwood City where everyone does the basic careers. I don't think there's much people who do music. I probably know like 3 people that do, but yeah, I don't know anyone that does clothing or anything like that. So meeting you and meeting your friends and the people you surround yourself with was very interesting in like the best way possible because it like taught me like how people can just express themselves through their talent. And I think you showed me that I liked drawing, and I didn't know that I did until I met you because I was like, hey, let's try this out. Let me show myself like what I'm talented at. And I definitely learned that from you, and I think that's why I thought your whole career path or what you were into was a good, like, I thought it was amazing, to be honest. So dude,
If you were to hope for one thing to never change between us,
yeah,
what would that be?
I feel like there's 2 things. Can I say both? There's communication, because I think we're really good at it, as in we both express ourselves and how we feel, and I feel like we don't really hold back, but not in like, because we never say anything harsh to each other, but we don't hold back as in like, I'm not gonna say it's okay until I feel like I'm heard, type of thing. And the other thing, it has to do with you're my best friend, and I feel like we have that very much. Like our relationship is very based like on being best friends.
Right.
Like we love doing things together. At least me. I can't speak for
No,
you.
yeah, same.
I love doing things with you. Like when it comes to like partying, like I don't want to party without you. Like it's not like my best friend's not here.
Yeah.
Thing. So I feel like that goes along with like our communication. Like we feel that comfort with each other.
Yeah.
That we can talk, and I hope that never changes.
More in all, I just feel like we're kind of like a unit in terms of like how we make decisions and how we position ourselves. I never have to question like what your position is or where your loyalty lies or anything like that, which is definitely something that gives you just peace of mind, knowing that you can trust the person that you're with.
Sure. I feel like, to be honest, we're very different, but we're also the same.
Yeah.
As in, we think the way we love each other and like the way we want to communicate with each other is very the same.
Yeah.
But we have different things that we bring to the table, which is very unique. I like it.
Who would you say holds the power in the relationship?
Okay.
100%.
I mean,
No, 100%.
Do you think I do?
With certain decisions, yeah.
I think it's both ways, though.
Like, if you say we're not eating somewhere, we're not eating somewhere.
Okay, that's just because I'm picky. You're less picky with eating.
Yeah.
So you're more down for food like that. I think that's the only reason why it's like that power. But with, yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't want to.
See, I already gave an example, and now she's like trumped. She can't give an example back.
No. No, I feel like we're very like equal.
Yeah.
I don't think I have more power than you because I don't see myself more powerful than you. If I'm being honest, like I think, yeah, like I said, like we're pretty even, as in everything that we go about like saying and stuff like that. Like we're very much ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that shows in our relationship.
Yeah, because we don't really fall within traditional rules either. Because I cook for you all the time, you cook for me all the time.
Yeah.
I clean for you, you clean for me. Like, we just kind of both handle each other's things. And I feel like one of the main things about it is that it never is something that, like, I ask of you or you ask of me.
Yeah, we just do it for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I feel like we're pretty equal. I don't think either one of us. I would say that you are more like the outgoing one.
Yeah.
As in, you do hold that like that power that sometimes I'm like, oh, let me just hold back.
Like socially?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes, like, if I feel overwhelmed,
okay,
you will take over.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where you would hold a power. Like, sometimes I would just get quiet, and then you'll just, like, continue talking.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you think I, like, carry the weight in terms of, like, sometimes when you feel shy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't think I'm very much a shy person.
Nah.
But...
At least around me.
Yeah. Yeah, around you, I feel very comfortable that I can be myself. I'm very like that, though. Like, if I'm with people I've just met, like, say I'm hanging out with someone I just met, and we're going into, like, a group of people, I will kind of be the quiet one, because everyone in that table doesn't really know me. But once I'm with someone that I'm, like, comfortable with, I'm like, they know who I am. Like, I'm going to be myself right now, regardless of what these people think. So I'm very like that.
We've kind of talked a little bit about, like, you know, how we sort of do things for each other, you know, and kind of look out for each other. Let's talk about a couple that doesn't do that.
Who's that?
Okay, so I know everybody's been talking about this. Everybody and their mama knows about this. The Will Smith slap, that shit was crazy. But can we get into it for a little bit? Let me get a little bit more wine, because I'm definitely down on my last. Thank you. But I definitely want to get your opinion on it, you know, because I feel like we've had a little bit more time to kind of digest on that a little bit. Originally, I was kind of 50-50. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, good for Will for standing up for his wife.
I think I was like that in the beginning, too.
I didn't understand what the condition was, so in my mind, it was more of like, oh, maybe it's something serious that, you know, Chris didn't know about, and so...
I thought it was fake, to be honest. My mom showed me it, and I was like, there's no way he slapped him. Like, that, for me, that slap looked so fake, and I was going with it for the longest time, until I heard, like, the part where Will was yelling at him, like...
Oh, when he started screaming. Yeah.
And at first, I was very, like, I don't know, at first my mindset was, why are people so against Will right now? But I'm such a big Will fan.
Me too.
That I was like,
I love all his movies.
Wrong with him. Yeah, I was defending him hardcore.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's just defending him.
Because he's Will the family man, you know what I mean? Like this, so...
From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like,
yeah,
really, like,
so that was my original thought, right?
Yeah.
But I knew something didn't sit right in the fact that when I watched the clip back a couple of times, I was like, wait, why is Will laughing in the beginning?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what it did for where you got kind of convinced a little bit. Because for me, it was TikTok. My feed was just full of dudes breaking the video down. And
I guess mine was Twitter.
Okay.
And mine was like, because people were saying that was very out of character of him, which is so true. Because Will is known to be like, he doesn't say bad words.
Will's a comedian. He hangs out with comedians.
He's such a chill person.
I'm sure he's heard worse shit, is my whole point. Like, there's no way that's the worst joke he's ever heard. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I feel like he's very much like, his whole family is like popular and like famous in their own sense. They're all so talented. And so I feel like he's very much a businessman, as in like, he won't do anything to risk that. Like, not in the sense that he wants fame, but in the, like, I'm going to protect my reputation and my family's reputation.
Right.
So seeing him do that was why I thought was very out of character of him.
Especially in the place that he did it, which is the Grammys, dude. Or, I'm sorry, the Oscars. Which is, like, that's, like, the mecca in terms of, like, actors winning awards. That is your MVP trophy right there. For sure. So it's, like... Here's where I was conflicted, right? Okay, let's say Jada was offended by the joke, and let's say she didn't find it particularly funny, which is to each their own. Maybe the joke just didn't sit well with her, and that's, you know, because she's so close to the situation, I understand where that feeling might come from. Here's where my issue lies, though, is she did nothing to protect her husband's image after the fact She did nothing. She did nothing to sort of like bring whatever consequences are gonna come down. Which, by the way, you assaulted a man at the Oscars. There will be consequences. I understand he's Will Smith, but there's no way there's not gonna be some sort of backlash following this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so, that like the fact that you didn't make sure that while he stood up there and no cap made a fool of himself for you, there's no way that you're not going to go out of your way to sort of like just make sure that people don't think he is who we're all seeing him as.
Honestly, a good wife, even a girlfriend, would tell you sit your ass down.
Yeah.
Like, don't make a fool of yourself. You can do that later. Like, you can protect me later. I will respect you for that. But don't make a fool of yourself
in
right
front
now.
of the world.
The whole entire world.
The world.
Yeah, no. The feelings are not reciprocated. I feel like that. Like, I feel he loves her more than she loves him.
Yeah.
And it shows because he went on about, like, doing that and wrecking, like, his reputation.
Dude, the Tupac.
While she sat back.
The Tupac memes were, oh my god, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They were ruthless.
People do not care.
Literally, all of them were. Pac wouldn't let that shit slide. And I was just like, bro. Alrighty, well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in to episode number 6. We are going to be doing these more regularly. It's not going to be another 4 months before it posts another one. So we appreciate everybody tuning in for the content. As far as the one-shot episodes, those are just our Call of Duty team. We figured that we needed to feature more content and diversify a little bit. So for any of you folks that are into the gaming stuff, go ahead and check that out. It's an esports documentary that I myself make. It's based around our team, and yeah, we're doing pretty good right now. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on and for being such a natural and kind of just getting the hang of it. We will definitely have you on board next time for the upcoming episodes.
I'm so down. I'll push them through. We gotta get the ones.
we gotta post them. But
For sure.
we hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Goodbye. That's yours.
Bye.
Goodbye.